You know, in the world of sports, every athlete aspires to become recognized in the Hall of Fame. And the journey to this end requires that an athlete moves through various phases of growth, starting at the junior or peewee level, right? We call this peewee baseball, or junior golf, or recreation league basketball. And from there, they travel through high school athletics and on to college sports, and then they hit the professional leagues. And finally, if they're one of the best in the world at their sports, they make it into the Hall of Fame. Well, just as with sports, your ability to live a certain lifestyle is going to require that you grow through certain stages in the financial domains of life. And if you play the game right, these stages will ultimately take you to financial mastery. That's the purpose of this module. I want you to start to understand and start to learn and start to dream about the 5 lifestyle levels that a person can grow through in order to truly become financially secure and then comfortable and then free. And I want you to begin to take a look at the necessary steps to reach financial mastery. Because at the end of the day, where the big rewards are, where the big gifts are, is in mastery. So let's talk about each of these levels. And no matter which level you're at, that's totally fine. But I want you to recognize where you are, and then let's work on moving up at least one level at a time. Now, the first player, right, the first person is what we call the injured player. And I, for one, am a fan of watching certain sports. For example, soccer. I've never seen so much drama, and I know my son is passionate about it. There's millions of people that are passionate about this. But have you ever seen these guys? They'll take a little hit on the shin, and next thing you know, boom, they're laying down for like a half hour. I think it's kind of humorous, and I'm not ragging on the sport. I'm just saying that I've never seen anything like it. Well, when you look at somebody in the financial world, the injured player is what we call repair and recovery. And oftentimes these people are dealing with debt. Maybe it's credit card debt or student loan debt or consumer debt, but they're confused over their financial situation. They've got a lack of information oftentimes. We often call them the ostrich approach to wealth. Now, what that means is they've got their head in the sand and their new you-know-what is up in the air. So don't be the ostrich, right? We also notice that these players have a lack of professional support for managing and investing. They oftentimes will tell you, well, I don't have anything to manage. So they maintain this constant scarcity or lack mentality. They have this fear of finances. Now, if you're in this place, don't worry about it. I've been there. Most of the people that I know that have been successful, we've operated in this place too, especially if you didn't grow up with much wealth or abundance around you. I grew up in a one-stoplight town with 13 bars, so it wasn't like there was a lot of success meccas and mentors around me. I had to learn and claw and scratch my way to the top. So if you're in level 1, if you're in repair and recovery, and you're looking to get to the next level, you want to make sure that you are starting to use cash instead of using your credit cards. You want to stop spending on incidentals and lattes and magazines and extras that are not really going to support you in financial freedom. They make you feel good for a short term, but they don't really get you where you want to go. You also want to start to consolidate all your debt into lower interest rates, monthly payments, so you have less to manage. The biggest key, the most important thing is, the only way you're going to go from being a repair and recovery player to the next level is if you start making more than you spend. That's a simple reality. None of the wealth strategies that we're going to teach you will ever help you long term until you learn how to live inside of your means. So start taking charge of your cash and your financial situation. Start using visualization to see yourself having a solid financial foundation, to see yourself happier, healthier, and wealthier. Start putting a debt recovery plan in place and start building something that is truly going to help you get to the next level. Okay, that next level we're going to work on is what we call back-end training. Now, back-end training, just like a professional athlete or even a rookie athlete, means that maybe you've been out of shape mentally and physically for a while. Maybe you've been sitting on the sidelines. Maybe you've been injured. But here you have to recommit. You have to recondition your inner game and your outer game so that you get in great financial shape. And keep in mind, it's not going to happen overnight. If you've been sitting down on the bench for 6 months, a year, or 2 years, or 3 years, don't expect to run back onto the field and immediately be able to do full-out sprints like you would if you had been training all year. So what do we do financially if you're back in training? Well, you got to start educating yourself about finances. Take a class. Talk with some colleagues who are financially successful. Read everything that you can get your hands on so that you're fully educated and you're doing it to the point of starting to get excited again. Again, take charge of your cash and your financial situation. One of the best decisions that my wife and I did many years ago when we were wanting to buy our first piece of real estate is we made a decision that we were going to bite the bullet and get off of credit cards because we had about $14,000 debt at the time, maybe a little bit more, and our business was just kind of starting off. And we said, we're never going to get financially free if we don't make the hard choices now. So we said, let's get ourselves back into shape. And we literally did that. We decided to physically get our bodies in shape, mentally get our minds in shape, and financially get our finances in order. So we started building momentum with small daily actions. Start by reducing some of your expenses. Go look at those things that you really don't need and say, if I were to cut out these lattes or maybe these movie subscriptions or maybe these magazines, which are nice, but they're not necessarily getting me free, what would ultimately happen in 6 to 12 months? Well, you'd gain that energy back. You'd gain that power back. So start practicing solid daily habits to earn more money and to save more money. Surround yourself with smart, sharp financial support teams. This is what it means to get back in training. Doesn't mean you have to hire all of these people, but start surrounding yourself with them so that when you do have the resources, you can employ some of the best people in the world. Work with a financial abundance coach or a mentor, somebody who can help you shift your mindset, somebody who can help you stay focused on possibility instead of scarcity. Put a plan or a strategy in place to pay off all your unsecured debt. This is imperative. If you have no plan, now's the time to do it. Get back into training, just like if you were going to put a plan in place to be able to create more health. All right? So the last piece on this to get back in training is begin building an active and/or passive sources of income. And let me clarify. Active income is where you're trading time for money. That could be a job or that could be consulting or whatever it is where you're required to show up in order to do that work. And if you're back in training, it's a good idea to make sure you're doing things that are active, that you enjoy, that are actually starting to create some cash flow for you. Also, start building your passive income. You'd be surprised at what $100 a month or $200 a month or $300 a month would do for you. I mean, that's a cell phone payment. Eventually, that's a car payment. Eventually, that's a mortgage payment or a rent payment. Those little things begin to add up. And as you get back into training and you build your strength, you build your confidence, you build your resources, you're going to find that it's easier to move to the next level. This next level is called being back on the field and playing the game. This is where you started to create momentum. You're actually focusing on the 3 C's. You're focused on cash flow creation, cash flow management, and cash flow investing. You're starting to play more offense instead of just playing defense. Now, it doesn't mean you stop playing defense, right? You're not going to just sit back and only play offense. You need to make sure that you're controlling your expenses. But playing in the offense means that you're moving forward. You're taking actions. You're starting to get engaged in the things that generate more cash, whether it's investing, whether it's active income, whether it's passive income. But you're starting to build some momentum. You build a strong active and passive income at this stage. This is also where you're probably going to start to delegate some of the lower activities. When I say lower activities, I mean the things that you could hire somebody on Fiverr or Elance to do that are 5 or 10 or 20 or 30 bucks an hour. Instead of you doing those, you're outsourcing some of those. So this level of being back on the field and playing the game means that just like an athlete, you are running plays and you're making things happen. And that leads us to the next level, which is level 4, and this is being a top recruit. In level 4, you are working with financial advisors. You have upgraded your relationships of the people that you're working with. You're actually being recruited by other people because of your success. Now, this has been happening with me and many of my friends and other people who mentor people because we've achieved a certain level of success in our lives. And it's our opportunity, it's our pleasure to reach back and help people by lending them a hand up. This is one of the most valuable things that you can do, is to get yourself into a position where you can be a mentor, where you can help other people because you've done the basics. You've done what it takes to create success. At this level, level 4, you're really getting close to financial mastery. You've got strategic plans in place. You've got the right advisors in place. You're constantly seeking for better returns on your investment of time and of energy to make sure that you can hire the right people to manage your portfolio, manage your business. This, my friends, is where the game gets really exciting. Your daily habits are leading you towards more and more abundance, but you can also start taking more risks. You can meet with financial advisors about things like tax shelterings and investments and how to leverage those investments for greater returns. This is also where many people decide that their charitable givings are going to become a primary focus. So they become more philanthropic. They've got the ability to truly give back at a level that you simply don't have the ability to do when you're in repair and recovery or you're just getting back into the game. This is also the level where people really get into studying the psychology and the history of money and the stock markets and investing. So this is where the game for you has taken a whole different level, and it leads you to the 5th and final level, which is what we call the Hall of Fame or financial mastery. This is where life is in flow. This is where your decisions in life are no longer driven by money. This is where you have a full-time staff to manage your businesses, manage your portfolios, to bring you deals that the general public aren't even, they don't even really have access to. So you're considered accredited investors. This is where you're living in a life of abundance. And you have reserves that will take you not only through this lifetime, but you've got enough reserves not just for multiple lifetimes, but to be able to hand down a legacy of finances. So this is the goal. This is where I'd love to see every single one of you. And no matter where you're starting, it's important to recognize where you are, but no matter where you're starting, start at that level. Focus on moving at one level at a time. This is not a get-rich-quick magic pill, instant fix kind of philosophy. This is where you're going to earn your way up the ladder. But here's what I can tell you. As your awareness grows, as your skill sets strengthen, as your mindset strengthens, and as you create the right environments for long-term financial success, no matter what the markets are doing, whether they're going up or going down, you'll have a solid financial foundation in place, and you'll have the ability to respond to what's happening in the world instead of staying in constant reaction. So I hope this helps you just take a quick assessment of where you are. If you're at the injured player level 1, or if you're back in training, or if you're starting to truly play the game, or maybe you've gotten up to being a top recruit, or maybe you're now ready for the Hall of Fame. No matter what level you're at, I want to encourage you to own that level and do what it takes to get to the next level. This is Jim Bunch saying, until we connect again, have fun, and remember, it's your choice to create your ultimate life. Bye for now.